I'm up 700 for the week in my PA. Staying poised, having trader amnesia so that way I can be able to be objective in the market. And the market will teach you lessons. That's what it will do. If you don't know what an opening range breakout is, it's a very simple technique. E-Trade, I apologize in advance if you don't like me. But again, ever since the acquisition by Morgan Stanley, I've had nothing but pure nightmares dealing with y'all.
Why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is.
Is there more soldiers on the other side of that EMA? Did they go pick up new soldiers? Because, you know, now that it's weak, to kind of give y'all a little background, right? I love trading. I've done trading for a long period of time, and oh, come on, 4:30. Come on. Let's go. Hey, what's going on? Good afternoon, my neighbors. It's JD the Great, and I got a very, very important message to let y'all know. Compound Central is official, and it is a very simple and robust little bit of a setup. So what is actually here, you got yourself Ticker Command, which is nothing but amazing tickers that has all the things that you need, so that way you can go ahead and make decisions for various scalp positions, and you can play this, and it's built on a way for you to make some money relatively fast. If you want access to this, go ahead and click the link down below and get your 14-day trial and see if you like it, if it fits your strategy and everything else. If you don't, there's no problem. It is a 14-day trial. All right. So that said, let's go ahead and put this away. We got ourselves quite a few tickers that I want to go ahead and go over. Actually, let me drag this down. Right. And a couple of tickers I want to go ahead and talk about. I want to start with NVIDIA. So NVIDIA had a very interesting push on the upside today. The funny thing about NVIDIA is the fact that even though we had a nice little push, we kind of ended like we couldn't get back into some of these upper registers, trying to get NVIDIA to get back to $200. That said, I would say I'm very curious on what NVIDIA is going to do. All right. And then another ticker that I am keeping my eye on is Apple. Now, Apple, I was looking to short it on yesterday, but then we had a nice little solid recovery and a strong push to the upside. And I'm very, very curious. Are they able to get above that 250 and hold? Now, we've been at 260, getting closer around that 270. But you already know the market's going to do what the market's going to do. Now, let's go ahead and talk about today. So, the whole purpose of after the trades is so that way I can kind of recap everything that's going on in the market and what trades I've actually taken today. I spent majority of my time inside of NQ, and I just want to break down how it can be very challenging playing NQ, especially in these all-time highs. So let's go ahead and look at this. So you already know 90% of my trades, I build it around the opening range breakout. So here's Friday. We had a nice little drop off as soon as the Asian session kind of kicked off. But somewhere around London, they finally built a base and they pushed right on up to the upside. If you don't know what an opening range breakout is, it's a very simple technique where you take the first 15 minutes of the market, which is this right here, and you kind of mark off, which I use this to kind of get it. And you're bullish above this level and bearish below that level. Now, the fun part about this, I got this little line in the middle, which is called Strange Danger, which allows me to take certain scalps and little stabs of the market, and they can be very lucrative. But today was a very interesting day. Now, the biggest flaw out of all of this trade is after establishing the level, I knew we built quite a bit of a base. If I drew out some trend lines, you could kind of see we had a nice little base like this, And then at the time during the London session into New York, we was kind of building something along the lines of this, and this was going to be the test. And as I was explaining people on Get Rich or Fit Trying, just there's a strong possibility we could continue to the upside. So I marked off of a level which was 713. For some reason, there was a lot of volume around that level. You probably would have seen that in order flow. I'm just used to it at this point. I could kind of see it without actually any order flow, but there was a reaction. I want to come down to a 1 minute chart so you can see what I'm talking about. And yeah, we had a nice little opening break, and then we failed to really, let me get rid of this oscillators. We failed to really make any penetration to the downside. There was a nice little accumulation factor that happened right before 10 o'clock, and my initial entry was supposed to be around 713. Now, very important thing, and this is where my flaw was, and this what led to I want to say a bit of revenge trading. And you know what, let me call it what it is. Let me not try to sugarcoat it. There's a little bit of revenge trading. It was revenge trading, not a little bit, right? I knew I should have been in at 713. I knew it was a little far from my stranger danger, and it could reverse if I did jump in the middle of the sense. And when it started building this pullback here, of course, this is happening in minutes, right? I talked about the 750 as a level that will be tough, so I waited for 750 to come back. It didn't come back. It didn't come back. And when you're taking these trades, it's difficult for you to kind of like really want to jump in a certain way. So what ended up happening, as we kind of started to break out of this area and start to get to that opening range breakout, I had a large amount of position here, and by the time I entered roughly here, and you can kind of see it was relatively choppy, and I was adding to my position because I anticipated we was going to get to this register. But you know, the market doesn't do what you want it to do. It just does what it thinks is rational. And listen, if you're going to think that you have a lot of cash that can handle all types of stuff, the market can liquidate you before it just makes sense. All right, just always keep that in mind. So as we kind of had this nice little push up, I saw $700, but by the time I came back to this, it was all right. This is just a pullback. Just hold on, weather the storm. And I just added a position. They liquidated down to this point. Now, I did get a little bit to the downside, which really helped kind of recover some. But by the time it was all said and done, I was already down $1,200. So being up to $700 and then being drawn down another $1,200, that is a $1,900 swing. Now, if you don't know, I'm a scalper. I have heavy leverage in my positions. The 713 was the key position for me to be able to have the position I needed, and I did not follow suit. Big mistake, and I tried to make it up because I knew the upside was going to be there. There was a lot of targets from a higher time frame that I was looking for here, but they needed more steam, kind of reversed, came back up into this register. I did play it down on options from here and dealt with some of this weather of this storm right here, and then we kind of played it back down. But I thought when we came through here, we would break through this area, and the market had other plans. So as I was scalping down to here with my options, I was able to lock in like 50%, which was very good. Added to my compound account. Again, if you want to go ahead and sign up for that Compound Central, it's a very good time for you to do so. Go ahead and click the link down below and get your 14-day trial and see if it works for you. All right, and had a nice little push to this area right after, so you could kind of see these candles. They are very like up and down. Like we got these pocket of range right here, which is there's about a 40-point range, so this can really shake some people out. And it was still kind of drifting up around 12 o'clock when I was still kind of playing. I thought we was gonna break down, I thought we was gonna break out. It just didn't do any of those things, and it was very choppy or consolidated. And of course it's Friday, so that's what ended up happening. So I ended up losing another $300. I still have my account, so I'm not worrying about it. It is a prop firm, so I'm still kind of up for the day, but I really want my PA to really generate the income that I'm looking for. It's going to require some leverage. So, what's the moral of the story today? Sometimes being patient can be detrimental. And mind you, I was distracted. E-Trade, you're the worst company ever created. I apologize in advance if you don't like me. But again, ever since the acquisition by Morgan Stanley, I've had nothing but pure nightmares dealing with y'all. If it wasn't for the fact that my system decided to log me out, even though I logged in like literally 10 minutes before the market opened, 20 minutes into the market, it logged me out, and I went to go log back in because I was thinking about getting options to the upside because I was targeting the upside. And that was not the case because I had to spend energy logging in. By the time I looked down, it already broke through the 713. Some of my crew actually took some positions there. Everybody made their money, but I kind of got myself a little bit of a butt whipping. And the market will teach you lessons. That's what it will do. So when it came down to about right here, I did play a little bit here. I was down 1,500 to almost 1,600 at one point. I made it up. I ended up finishing the day red, $1,300 on my PA, and I will live to fight another day on Monday. All right. But the important thing is, if you haven't watched BYTTT, I always give little insights on how the market can move, and the breakdown of BYTTT from yesterday on Wednesday really fueled a lot of the thesis that actually panned out in the middle of today, because we kind of like drifted. If you really go to the daily, you will notice that we didn't have a real straight up and down. We had a green candle here, red candle here, green candle here, red candle here. We finished with a green candle here. So the market is very indecisive. If you really want to think about it, we are just fighting inside of a daily range that kind of looks something like this, right? I call this a jambalaya rice order block. The day is a jambalaya rice order block, but it does not mean that there's no money to be made. So it's very important that you understand, take your positions, find those levels, look for best positions, that way you can go ahead and make some money, because the market is going to present you with the opportunities. So that said, that is my soliloquy on my trades. This week was actually quite positive for the most part. I added 2,000 into my PA before I lost 1,300. So I'm up 700 for the week in my PA. Would have been great to be 2,000. Look, you want to just try to finish as green as possible. You want to take the opportunities that present itself. I was looking to make 1K per day, and I was just on a good hot streak. And I was more worried about the streak than I was actually worried about the trade. And I think that was my untimely undoing. But staying poised, having trader amnesia so that way I could be able to be objective in the market was very critical to me. And I think that really helped a lot. So don't forget, like I said, you can go ahead and sign up for the one entry, one shot Compound Central. It is very, very lucrative. We are turning around with a 72% success rate on scalps, and I would love to share that with you. Also, tomorrow, Saturday, there's Mindset. If you want to participate with Mindset and be part of the crew that shares your knowledge and everything else with like-minded individual, and you feel like you're trading by yourself, by all means, go ahead and put in the comments Mindset. Just type in the word Mindset, and I'll know who you are, and I'll send you an invite so that way you can be participating with us in Zoom. Other than that, you can find it on YouTube. We will be recording. You can comment throughout the whole entire live chat during the time of the live stream. But for the most part, the real gem is the participation. The goal is every day during Mindset is for us to get out of our own way, not to be too high where you feel invincible, not to be too low where you feel like this trading is not working for you, and just be right even keel in the middle, be objective, get you back to zero. And my goal as a trading coach is to get you to that point. So I want to say thank you for taking the time and listening to this video. I look forward to working with you, so go ahead, click the link down below, and I can't wait to see you at 1 Inch One Shot. You have a great day.